Hopefully you guys can hear me quite well. Nobody's here right now, so what I'm doing is I'm going to tape up the kids' hockey sticks, let my skates warm up for a bit because they've been sitting in the van. My heater hose came off on my van, so there's no heat in my van as of last night. So I'm going to do a video. Well, I'm going to multitask while I'm doing the video. What it is, I'm going to tape some of these kids' hockey sticks here at the rink. There were donation sticks on them. I got more than enough tape. I did my new stick, my T1000. This is a Sherwood T1000. See, it says T and 1000. It's like liquid metal, and it's also, well, you can't see it now, but it's ABS for ABS. Anyways, yeah. Get to the chocolate. All right. So anyway, more serious note. Donald Trump is going to be elected, or he is elected, and he's going to be. Look at that. Somebody played pretty hard with it. This is a nice little stick. It's a sidetrack. But it looks like, they're really trying to make it hard for Donald Trump with the actual fake news out there. The CBC up here in Canada is still going with that story about the thing in Moscow. Now, number one, okay, even if the story was true, as sick as the story is, it's still not illegal. It's not a scandal. It's, in the sense of, it's nothing. Even if Donald Trump came in, yeah, that's true, it's all true. There's nothing you can do to him. Mind you, people would think he was a disgusting person if he did that, but I mean, for some people have strange, you got people walking around, when it comes to fetishes, yeah, there's a can of worms, I got a hockey stick fetish to fix all the hockey sticks, that's my fetish. At least it's constructive for the community, you know what I mean? But if some people want to do golden showers, if you don't know what that is, don't research that with little kids around. Please don't. You're going to be shocked and awed if you don't know what it is. You're going, what the hell? People do that for fun? Are you kidding me? I don't know if they do it for fun. Again, it takes all kinds, right? But anyway, so the story is that they're still trying to track down this agent that apparently leaked the story, and he's an MI6 guy, MI5, MI6 guy, I believe he was an MI6 guy, ex-MI6. The British government says, no, this guy hasn't worked for us in years. I guess he went kind of like a private eye kind of thing, trying to find dirt on people. The problem is the story, it goes back to 4chan, and well, first off, I'll tell you what the story is. And Donald Trump alluded to it. He goes, when I go to Russia or places like that, he goes, you got to be very careful. He tells everybody there, go there, you got to be careful. You got to be really careful because there's cameras. They're so small you won't even know they're there. They spy on you. A friend of mine experienced something like this in Cuba when she, kind of cozy with this guy from Cuba, and the Cuban government actually tapped her phone. It freaked her out. She's like, they tapped her phone, stuff like that, in the hotel. When she told me this, so I probably won't talk more about it because I'm pretty sure she wouldn't appreciate it. But just give you an idea, when you go abroad, not every country has as bad as we're going, the direction we're going in like Canada and the United States with authoritarianism and stuff like that, we're still not where a lot of countries like, say, North Korea, or even if you're in Russia, Mother Russia there, this is some of the things that I complain about. They spy on their diplomats there. Everybody knows that the Russians spy. This started even long before Joseph Stalin. So this is openly known. If you go to Moscow, and you're a diplomat or whatever, the FSB, which you call the modern day KGB, which Putin wants to revive the KGB, we know about that. You're going to be spied on, and so Trump says always be on your best behavior, which makes sense. So maybe Trump is into the sick stuff, and that's a possibility. I shot myself in the throat. Nice. I'm tough. I can take it. So that's one hockey stick. So the thing is that he's not stupid. He knows for sure that you're going to be spied on if you go and go to these places. Come rush me. I slap you in the head there because this part of the stick. When the guy come in, he go to bum rush me there. But what you don't know is when he come in like that, I turn the stick like that, get him in crotch. Right from behind. The ref, you never see it because I'm back in the net. I'm hey, I'm just a goalie, man. I play hockey and he's going to shoot and he bum rushed me and my stick turned. I was scared. You should give him a penalty, Make him sit in the penalty box, But anyway, yeah. But anyway, so we know that this spying is something that they do. So Trump knows this. He's not stupid. So he called CNN's bluff on it. I guess what they expected him to go, oh, no, that's not true, it's not true, it's not, oh my God, don't say those sort of, probably like, you're a bunch of lying assholes, you know. I mean, that's the next way he's going to say it. He's not going to be any nicer than, hey, there's a nice tape underneath here. Okay, that's not too bad. I'll do it again anyway. But he's like, no, you guys are fake news, and you got that reporter down there, Mr. President, that's not appropriate. You're fucking right, it's not appropriate. Sorry for the language there, but yeah, of course that's not appropriate. Look, you know, I understand bias. You don't like Donald Trump? Fine. I'm a Canadian. I you know, well, I do kind of have a dog in the fight because they're our neighboring country, and, you know, I don't want Trump to fail. Why? Because if he fails, it's going to hurt my country. It might hurt the world. So all these people that want Trump to fail, it's like being on an airplane hoping that because you don't like the pilot, you're hoping he's going to crash. Same logic, exact same logic. And yes, it's coming mostly from the left. But you've got it also from these, we'll call them right-tards, because they're not right-wing, they're neocon, Zionist, war hawk types, they're just douchebag people. And they're trying to sabotage their own guy. You know, like you do realize you're on the same boat as that guy if you make him fail. You know, like, they're so stupid. Maybe you know, maybe they were the guy that got bum rushed as the goalie and, you know, got a concussion or something. I don't know what happened with it. But anyway, so they don't like him, fine. But it doesn't mean you get to do character assassination. Now, the media for years has been able to do that. You've got like W5 up here in Canada. They do hit pieces on people all the time. Basically, take sound bites to make you look bad, take everything out of context, instill in people not... and this is what they're trying to double down on this, using Saul Alinsky style of tactics. You know, the one where he says, ridicule is the best weapon because there's no defense against it. Well, there's not. You call their bluff. Then they look twice as bad. And again, moments of truth can be, 1,000 years of lies can be destroyed by moments of truth. So I'm not saying Donald Trump is the good guy because we don't know. We can only judge him on his actions. I have a hunch he might be a good guy, but will Washington change him? Or will he become the next Kennedy? And if he does, he will probably suffer the fate of Kennedy. Now, for those of you who don't like Donald Trump, go, oh, good, I want to see him assassinated. No, you don't. No, you don't. This guy is probably going to be better for the left than the left even realizes. That, like, it's you know, it's bizarre, but anyway, keep going here. The thing is that when you look at what they're done, they took a story. Okay, and let's talk about this story. This is what gives the mainstream media no credibility. And the fact that the CBC is still going on about it, trying to cast a doubt on a story that's already been disproven. It's already been disproven that it is a fake news story. It was a troll gone awry. Damn good troll, mind you, but a troll nonetheless. So there's this guy during the campaign, hates Donald Trump with a passion, and cannot say a darn thing nice about Donald Trump. Fair enough. He's got his right to freedom of speech. But this guy is so overzealous that he starts putting out the APB, anybody that, you know, offering rewards or whatever. I think it was him anyway, but it wasn't him, it was one of the guys that runs in the circles. And offering rewards if anybody can find dirt on Donald Trump. Okay, so what happens? A bunch of internet trolls. Isn't that nice? Look at that. A bunch of internet trolls put out this story. Trump goes to Moscow in 2013. Fact. He goes to Moscow, stays in one of these hotels. Okay, whatever. That we know Trump went to Moscow. Now, here's where it gets weird. They said that he hired a bunch of hookers or whatever, which in Russia, it's not too hard to find a Russian hooker, I'm pretty sure, let alone a few of them, and especially if you got that kind of money, you can get probably good quality hookers, the A-class hookers instead of the B-class hookers, whatever floats your boat. So he gets them, and he stays in the room that Barack Obama and Michelle Obama stayed in when they were there. And then he gets these girls to pee on each other, aka the golden showers, and when the golden showers happen, it's to desecrate where Obama stayed. And apparently the FSB got this on video. The problem is the FSB saying, yeah, there's no video. We gladly show you video, like damning people. That's what we do, but there's no video of peeing girls on bed. We don't have it. What you wait? So, yeah, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So, trust me, if Putin had this kind of damning evidence again, the stuff he could play on that, Of course they would. It's the frickin' Russians. Of course they're going to do it. Anything to make the U.S. look bad, even if it's Donald Trump. They're not happy with the U.S. right now, especially with the NATO buildup on their border, and it's a big buildup. We're talking rumors is between. We know there's tanks for sure, between 2,000 and 3,500 tanks, between 3,000 and 6,000 men building up on NATO for this drill. Ranging from basically Estonia all the way down to Georgia. Basically the whole Russian border. So the Russians are, they see that kind of build-up on the border. They saw something like this in World War II. It was called Operation Barbarossa with the Nazis. And it was, don't worry, it's just a drill. 9, we're not going to invade, 9. And they invaded. And the Russians got caught with their pants down with Panzers and the SS Waffen, coming across. That would make you shit bricks. You would learn that lesson only once in history. You only get to learn that lesson once. The Russians still view themselves as the World War II as the patriotic war. That they were the main liberators of in Berlin. They took Berlin, that type of thing. And they basically looked at it as, like Stalingrad, all those big battles, the Falaise Gap, all these massive battles. And they lost more than anybody in World War II. They lost 26 million people. That's what they know of. 26 million people out of World War II. A total of, I think, some 400,000 people died in World War II. Of servicemen and stuff like that on the Allied side. But when you're talking civilians, 26 million, 50, whatever it would have been, right? But they know roughly about 26 million people died. And all because it was just a drill. Can you not see why they'd be a bit paranoid? You know what I mean? Now, that said, you have, Obama out there really doubling down, particularly in the last 2 weeks, really ratcheting up that kind of, let's provoke the Russians, get them to attack. The only thing that gets a Russian response, what I've said from day one, is number one, you got bomb Russia going. But the Goy, he can bomb Russia. He can bomb hook you, I just smack it. It's making it awesome, right? Back up! Anyway. Sorry, that's Brother Rose. Let me just do this one next. Oh, this was pretty chewed up on about it too. Pretty chewed up. But the thing is that you got Obama really doubling down on trying to escalate the war. Not trying to get rid of the war, escalate the war. And how he's doing this is quite simple. It's just provocation. Now, is it Obama? No, Obama's the puppet. He's been out of the game for probably a good while. It's just, he's the face of it, right? Because he's the man out front, same way Trump is. Now, is Trump a puppet? This is what we don't really know. We know he's loyal to AIPAC. But how loyal? Because he didn't take AIPAC money, which is good. The other thing is how loyal is he to Israel? This is the real question. That's the only question that really matters, because it's Israel these wars, all wars are bankers' wars, all wars are Israel wars. If you don't believe me, what you need to research is the Greater Israel Project, the Clarity Plan, that'll explain the migrant crisis for you, and the Samson option. If you're a U.S. soldier, or any soldier that has a country that's loyal to Israel, you might want to look at the Samson option. The Israelis are more than willing to have 35-to-1 casualties, meaning 35 of your guys, they're willing to sacrifice 35 of your guys for every one of theirs. So that means there'd be no limit. They would, until Israel gets what it wants. And with the airstrike in Syria last night, or the night before from making this video, Assad's not very happy. And something I said, right now we're experiencing what we'd call the Israeli freakout. Cliff High kind of coined the term there. But it is. Israel's been doing really bizarre things in the past couple of weeks from that UN. You've got, I forget how many countries, like 17 or 18 countries that have basically ditched Israel in the UN for the, because, the Israelis are basically moving across the Green Line, and it's not like the Blue Line in hockey, but the Green Line, and want to build buildings, and of course the Palestinians. You're talking about a two-state solution, but then they're moving into the Palestinian side. So obviously the Palestinians are not very happy about that, and trouble's rising. And with the two-state solution, that type of thing, you've got, not everybody's for it. Because the problem is with the two-state solution, is that it's not really a two-state solution. Israel keeps expanding. They've been expanding very well. Number one, they weren't there in 1947, but in 1948 they were. This goes back to the Balfour Declaration. Sorry. Again, comes down Rothschilds, Rockefellers. You know, World War II. You know, that was one thing that came out of World War II. Your stick's not too bad. So after that, Israel's been doing what it does. But we know about, I mean, again, ISIS. You know, again, think about every jihadist. What's their number one enemy? Israel. Not one of them attacks, you know, in what, 6 years? Not one ISIS member attacks Israel. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, what I think the plan is, and it looks like this is what Israel's doing, provoke Syria to attack Israel. But the Syrians are not stupid. They know that's what they want. Because they know as soon as, like, if Israel, okay, they did an airstrike in a foreign country. There's no reason, if Israel's not being attacked by Syria, there's no reason for them to be doing even preemptive strikes in Syria. There's no reason for them to do it whatsoever. They did it. This is not their first time. This is what Israel does. They go around airstriking other nations, and then when other nations, you know, send Hezbollah or whatever after them, and I'm not pro-Hezbollah. There's no good guys in this. But when they do retaliate, they say, oh, look, they're attacking us. So they lash out the pain as they strike you, right? But the thing is they wouldn't be attacked if they would stop attacking everybody else. But here's the thing. The reason why they attack everybody else is because U.S. foreign policy is Israeli foreign policy. That's why I bash on them so much. Because even if, okay, the Israelis basically attack first, the United States will defend Israel. So Israel can go around provoking as much as it wants, and it is, and get us into a war. Now, what I think the plan is, for the plan B, because they've lost Syria. The Syrian Arab Army and the Desert Hawks and all of them, and all the Kurds and all of them, I think they've pretty much taken Syria. They've still got outskirts battles on the outskirts of Aleppo and Idlib province and all that, but they really don't, you know, they're not really losing anything right now. Now it's just a war, you know, how long can these jihadis last? And it looks like Turkey is switching sides to the Russian side, which I think the Russians, because they can put more squeeze on the Turks than what the Americans can. That the Turks, you know, in a moment of self-preservation, they're like, okay, well, whatever, we'll do what the Russians want. You know, we'll give it to the Russians. And it is that kind of a war. It's a dirty war anyway. So you've got guys like John McCain, okay, who helped basically fund ISIS. He's one of the go-to guys. Now, he didn't do this by himself. There had to be a lot of CIA agents on there. You had 2 Mossad agents that pretty much, you know, talked about how, you know, Israel and the CIA, basically Israel is responsible for ISIS. They arm these guys. We know about this. The U.S. openly said they were arming moderate rebels and training moderate rebels, about 4,000 of them, in Jordan back in 2010, 2011. Same guys that said we'll see you on the front steps of the White House in Washington. Now, here's where it gets interesting. We know John McCain, his best friends that he's got pictures with, al-Baghdadi, you know, the leader of ISIS. So this guy has basically terrorist connections, okay? And this is why the CIA and the DHS and all those guys and the FBI have had to move Al-Qaeda off the terrorist watch list. And Al-Nusra, not until they can change the name. And as soon as they change the name, then, okay, when it goes from Al-Nusra to Al-Sham, same guys, or ISIS, these are the same guys. They're the same guys, they're fighting in the same trenches, same guys. Once you change the name, then they could put them back on the terrorist watch list and say, we're against Al-Nusra, we're against all that. So they go off and on the terrorist watch lists in the States, whatever, because if not, then it shows the United States as arming directly the rebels, which is openly admitted even by Obama, by John Kerry, by several, the State Department. Oh yeah, we keep accidentally arming the bad guys. But yet they keep doubling down on it. And now we got, in the past couple of weeks, Obama sending MAGPAD, basically surface-to-air missiles to Syria. They don't know where these things are right now. But I do. I'll tell you exactly where they are. Okay, so stick here. Oh, they're rubber on it. That's cool. They're in the hands of ISIS. that's where they're. Oh, this is a nice little stick for that. That'd be good for a kid. That's like a really good quality stick for a kid. A bit banged up. I can shave down the blade a bit. Yeah, because we know that's where they're going. That's what they're doing. They're arming these guys. So these Magpan launchers. Remember Ambassador Christopher Stevens, who was killed in the Libya debacle. This all tracks back to Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and the State Department and everything like that, because the whole thing is failed. So now what they have to do is create a crisis for Trump to get him to either choose between Russia or Israel. I hope he picks Russia. Not that I trust Putin, but Israel is the main cause of these wars. We have to be objective with Israel. Now the problem is you have a lot of Christians and Zionist Christians out there that cannot be objective on Israel because they can't separate biblical Israel from the government of Israel, the Zionist government of Israel. So Israel says jump, they say how high. So even if the Western media was to accept that Israel just did an airstrike unprovoked into Syria, and if Syria were to respond, now why didn't they shoot down Israeli jets? Well, I don't think it's because they couldn't, because they have the S-300, S-400 missile system in there. And the Israeli government, most likely what they were doing was send them in to hit the Damascus airport where the military is. So it's a direct attack on the Syrian military, which gives them every right to defend themselves, right? But it won't matter because the goal is to go to war. We're going to side with Israel whether they're right or wrong. So they go in, they don't shoot down any Israeli jets. Why? Because the Syrians are not stupid. They know that they're provoking war. What I think they will do is because they probably detected the Israeli airplanes coming in, notified the Russians said, let them do what they're going to do. We'll hold it against them later. And it will just turn world opinion against them. And it does. It does. It's why I'm against them. They're doing the wrong thing. Israel had no reason to do an airstrike in Syria. The Syrian army's got a hold of it. Now, what they're going to do, okay, is use this later on to say, well, when we do go after Israel, here's not the once, but here's the third, the fourth, the fifth time they've airstriked us. From this point on, Mr. Trump, once he's inaugurated, because remember, we're still under the old system at the making of this video. We've still got 6 days left before Trump is in power. And they don't know what Trump is going to do. So here's what they do. They let the Israelis do the airstrike. Okay, fine. So the Israelis didn't provoke the response they wanted. The response they want is for Syria to shoot back. That's why every time they shoot past the Golan Heights, remember, Israel wants the Golan Heights for itself because that's where all the oil is. And unfortunately, that part of the Golan Heights, where all the oil is where it's Syrian territory. So, or disputed, whatever. Again, they have to work it out. I don't know why they just can't cooperate, but make life easier for both of them. But, it's the way they do things over there. So anyway, long story short here, which is always a long story, the Syrians don't respond. The Russians say, hold off, we'll wait till Trump gets in, then we'll work on a plan. Because they don't have to shoot down Israeli jets to destabilize Israel. All they have to do, and have been doing, now this is something that I would say, yes, Israel does have to worry about, is that Hezbollah has been armed by Iran. We know this, but they're also supported by Syria. That said, they're also supported in Lebanon. So I think what's going to happen is they have to make a link between that's pretty good. The little kids don't care about whatever. But I think what they're going to do is get Syria to basically back Hezbollah even more, which they're going to do, and then draw the link from Hezbollah to Syria. Now, here's what's going to happen. I believe what they will do, and we'll have to watch for it, but tactically, the only way they can regain Syria is lost. The Israelis can't get Syria. They can't do the Greater Israel Project. They're not going to balkanize Syria. John Kerry out there saying, well, the Syrians have agreed to, basically, I'll leave that for the kids, basically break up Syria into a whole bunch of different factions, tribal factions, and everything will be good. Seriously, we did nothing of the sort. That's what you guys keep saying. We're not doing that. But if you look at what John Kerry's plan is in Syria, it is the Greater Israel Project. There's no doubt about that. That's exactly what he's describing. Now, did they make the Greater Israel Project an exact plan? Of course not, because the world won't go with it. If that's what they're going to get a whole bunch of people to kill each other, so they can break it up into tribal regions, so that not one of them will be big enough to ever challenge Israel. That's why they want to take out Iran. Iran could wipe Israel off the map like that. They don't need nukes to do it. Now, yes, Israel could fire back with its 600 and some odd nukes, and wipe Iran off the map. Fine, but it'd be mutually assured destruction. Nobody would win, right? So it's what it is. Now the Iranians haven't attacked anybody in over 200 years. And Syria is crumbling not because of Assad is a dictator. There's no doubt about that. The whole Middle East is full of dictators. Netanyahu's a dictator. They're all dictators. So try to pick between good dictators and bad dictators. Now, yes, Saudi Arabia and Turkey and all of them are in on it as well. But this is mainly for the Greater Israel Project. You can clearly see it taking that shape. So get Lebanon and Hezbollah to start getting riffraff between Israel, which happens from time to time. The Israelis shell Lebanon from time to time. Whatever, they send gunship helicopters. But then get it so that it's open that to get Assad to fully back Lebanon as he's fighting. So this could take a couple of years to pull off. The idea is to draw the link between Lebanon and Hezbollah and the Syrian government. Once they do that, then they can link it to Iran. Once they link it to Iran, then the United States can say, oh, we have to go to war with Syria and Iran. We now have a reason to invade. They're attacking our ally. That's what I believe that's what the plan is. We'll have to wait and see, but that's the only way because they can't take Syria now. The American people don't want to go to war and die in the desert. They're done with that. They already got hooked on weapons of mass destruction with Saddam, which was a lie. I don't know how George Bush and his entire administration are still walking around free. These people lied. 1.5 million people died as a result of that lie in Iraq and growing. The country's destroyed. Never mind Afghanistan, Libya, Syria. These are all parts of failed U.S. foreign policy from most people's point of view, but you're missing it. It's not failed. This is the plan. Genocide is the plan. Rip it apart is the plan. That's not a failed policy. That's why they keep doubling down on it, because if it was a failed policy, they would try something new. But they're not. They keep going. But they can't get Syria. Why? Because the Russians came in. And at the end of the day, Syria and Iran, the Russians and the Chinese know that after Syria and Iran, it's them. That's why the Russians are in there. Gas pipelines and all that aside. The war against the petrodollar, because Russia can bleed this one out. They can do it in Ukraine, they can do it there. This will bleed out the U.S., it won't bleed out them. They're smarter about the first Cold War, yeah, it kind of broke the bank a bit. It won't work a second time. The Russians have already figured out what they're doing. But they're modernizing their military, but they're doing a lot smarter than what they did. And you're giving Russia the excuse to escalate and build better weapons. And a lot of these weapons are starting to surpass all the NATO weapons. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying Russia would win in World War III. I'm saying everybody loses because the weapons are good enough on both sides. Look, the Germans had superior tanks in World War II, but the low-budget T-34 was one of the best tanks in World War II because there were so many of them. And they were reliable because they were so simple. The Germans looked at it, they saw just a little steering yoke in there, and they laughed at the thing. And they didn't have to Flay's Gap. You know what I mean? They respected it after. They respected it after. So that type of thing. But the thing is the mindset here is to get a reason for Donald Trump to go along with going to war with Iran. Once you go to war with Iran, you can go back into Syria after. They can stay out of Syria for now, but the real goal is to go to war with Iran, because that is the superpower in the region, so to speak, non-allied superpower. And I'm not pro-Iranian or anti-Iranian. I'm not pro-Israel or anti-Israel. I'm looking at it for what the governments are doing. The people are the ones that are going to suffer. People like you and me. Even the Israelis out there, the ones like you and me that just want to get up in the morning, go to work, or maybe go to your community center, tape hockey sticks for the kids, whatever. The people like that, these are the ones that are going to have bombs raining down on their heads because of idiots up at the top, like King Bibi, like Obama's, Bush's, Blair's, Clinton's, etc. These people, these are bad people on behalf of the Rothschild, Rockefeller dynasties and the banking and oil. And of course, Henry Kissinger, George Soros, Zygmunt Brzezinski. George Soros has been going nuts in the past couple of weeks. He's lost, I'm very happy, at least $1.3 billion over the Clinton campaign. Unfortunately, I wish it was 10 times that and break the bastard. Hungary's ditching all George Soros funded NGOs. I wish we'd do the same here in Canada. You never know. Anything is possible. There was a time for a nationalist government to come up out of the depths. In Canada, it's now. The people want you. They need you. Canada first, whatever. But the real thing here is if they can do it that way, they do have a very limited time to set the ball in play. And I think that's what this Israeli airstrike was about, more than anything, rather than just striking a bunch of military targets around the Damascus airport, which we don't know what they hit, but we do know they were trying to hit government troops. Again, that's all they do. The Israelis only attack. They don't attack ISIS. They attack Assad's guys. That tells you what you need to know. So, if it was really about defeating ISIS, I think what the fear is that if Trump is the real deal, they will send boots on the ground, work with the Russians, work with the Iranians, work with Assad. Bang, 2 weeks, ISIS is gone. First off, Trump doesn't even have to send a troop. All he has to do is stop sending shiploads and shiploads of ammo to these bastards in the desert. They'll run out in a week or two. I mean, if you ever watch jihadist footage, trust me, they don't spare the ammo. They're like, I hit the guy, and they're just shooting at nothing. They're just spraying and praying. How long? 3 weeks. 3 weeks. The average guy's going to be surrendering. Why? Here's my AK. It's strapped. It's a nice club now. I can still stab somebody maybe if I got the bayonet for it. Club them to death. Why? They're going to run out of ammo. Why don't these jihadis? Remember, these guys are poorer than dirt, live in caves. Some of them. They're farmers. They're living. These are even a first worlder like myself. Okay, I could not afford to fight a 6-year war, even with something as cheap to shoot as an AK. Why? I can't afford that much ammo. The ammo, oh yeah, but it's supplied by Saudi Arabia and Turkey. That is true. As well as Israel. Israel sends, the 7.62 by 39 comes from Saudi Arabia, it comes from Turkey. But the 223, or 5.56, NATO rounds come from Israel. Again, ISIS is either the luckiest terrorist group on. Just look at the stuff that they've taken. They find, buildings full of U.S.-made TOW missiles in Syria. Syria never used TOW missiles. They didn't get there by accident. You know what I mean? The airdrops. I talked about again, if you ever get a chance to talk to a pilot who flies a Globemaster or a C-5 Galaxy or a Hercules, these heavy lift aircraft, say, how come you guys keep dropping in the wrong place? You know what they're going to do if they don't punch you in the face first? They say, we never miss. We're experts at what we do. We can navigate through the Arctic without compasses, using the knuckles on our finger to figure out where we're going. They do that. These guys, they don't miss. They don't do accidental airdrops. They go where they're told to go. That's not on the pilots. That's not on the payload expert. That's not on the navigators. It's on the intelligence. And you're telling me they know where everybody is, they know where all the Syrian Arab Army guys are, and where Assad is, and where the Russians are, and yet they keep mistakenly dropping weapons to these guys. I think, 15 occasions? A couple of them caught on video. The Iraqi army's been bitching about it. The Iranians have been bitching about it. They even shot down a U.S. helicopter in 2014, I believe it was, or 2015, because it was dropping weapons to ISIS. The U.S. can't say nothing about it. Why? Simple. Like, you got a helicopter hovering at 500 feet. He knows that those guys are friend or foe. Why? Because if they're not friendly, they're going to shoot at him. If they're ISIS guys, they're going to shoot at him. So, the rebels and the ISIS guys get a note from the U.S. State Department. They get flyers saying, don't shoot at us because we're trying to get the weapons to the moderate rebels. There are no moderate rebels. They're all the same guys. And even if, maybe at one point there was. But again, none of this would have happened if John McCain didn't arm the Free Syrian Army in the first place. This is regime change, destabilization, Greater Israel Project. That's what it is. So now they've got, if Trump, who keeps signaling that he is a good guy, it depends how loyal he is to Israel. Now, who he's surrounding him with, everybody's got concerns about the Goldman Sachs people. They got concerns about a lot of the people he's surrounding himself. But you have to consider that he only has a basket of deplorables and completely wretched people to pick from in the U.S. government. Like, these people up at the top are just horrible people. Pretty much any side of the aisle, with the exceptions of a very few. Even Rand Paul, as good as he is, he would be too moderate. He'd be a great replacement for Donald Trump, but we need Trump first, if he's the real deal. If he's not the real deal, we're going to war anyway. And the thing is if we're going to war anyway, then there's no rule of law. And at that point, I would say, if you were a law enforcement, military, an agent or whatever, at that point, you need to grab your Constitution, read it. Read the part about enemies, foreign and domestic. Read it twice. You're going to have to take some actions at some point. Again, you got to save the people. That's your job. These people are trying to get us all killed. They're going to get your loved ones killed. For what? Why are we even in the Middle East in the first place? Petrodollar, all that, it's stupid. We sold the future to live a better now. So to keep killing people over there just so we can keep living a better now and pass the debt on to the future, no. Let's pay the piper now. It's going to be painful for a lot of us. Some of us are not even going to make it. We're going to starve to death. We're going to, whatever. But why put that on the next 3, 4, 5, 6 generations of kids? Maybe the next generation of kids not even going to be able to play hockey. You know what I mean? Because of these wars. Because of these psychopaths that are in power now. This little group of elites here who want war everywhere, when all else fails, when the banking system fails, because we're addicted to this credit that giving, loaning money to people who can't possibly pay it back. Protected by a group of jackboot thugs here to save us from all these masses here. That's what's going on. And I guess I'll wrap it up pretty soon. Obama really has about 6 days to put everything in play, which he's done a lot of things with the NDAA, and I'll be doing that in my next World War III update. This is just kind of get you guys to look at stuff. Again, I know there's some people, I'm pretty sure I have tons of Jewish people that follow my channel, and, it always sounds like I'm bashing on them. But I'm not bashing on Jewish people. I'm bashing on the Israeli government. I'm bashing on the American government, the Russian government, whoever. I don't trust any of them. They're all bad guys. They're all trying to get us at war. Now, the Russians, they're just in a weird predicament where all they have to do to make the U.S. look bad is tell the truth. That's the world we live in right now. When you have to get, and let's just look at the WikiLeaks leaks, okay? First off, Assad, let's say that the State Department is 100% correct, Assad is a Russian agent. Okay, we'll just give them that. We'll give them that. And that everything was actually hacked, not leaked. Now, Assad says these emails weren't hacked, they were leaked. Means people on the inside of the Democratic Party leaked these emails out. They let it go. And that in itself speaks volumes. That means there is people on the inside that don't want this. But like the Clinton Deadpool, if you don't know about, just research the Clinton Deadpool. The amount of people, again, dead people tell no tales, but the amount of people that end up dead, Eric Brennan, I think, is the guy that everybody's wondering where the hell he is right now. The amount of people that end up dead because of the Clinton Foundation is unbelievable. Again, dead people tell no tales. But the thing is that there are people, they probably know this, so they're like, okay, well, I got to keep everything on the hush and hush. And I think everybody's waiting for Trump. Really, everybody, whether they want him to win or want him to fail, or just want to, say, see, I told you so. He was, a selection. He wasn't. There was no election. Whether it's that or not, everybody's waiting for this election. Now, that said, remember something Hillary Clinton said, something along the order of the lines that if we don't win this election, they'll be hanging us from the street lamps. Something along that lines. She is correct. You have to understand, the New World Order or Old World Order or whatever could be just, like I said, that one bloody chair at the top. I've been saying it for a while. That all these world elites want to rule from is a bloody chair to sit in. Meaning they could be knocking each other off, just this mob boss versus that mob boss. Oligarch versus oligarch, however you want to look at it. But at the end of the day, she's right, because what will end up happening, quite clearly, is if Trump is the real deal. Now, a lot of people don't understand, and this is what a lot of the leftists who don't follow these kind of videos, because everything is fake news unless it comes from the mainstream media. But the most trusted sources you can get right now is CNN and BuzzFeed. And BuzzFeed is mainstream media if you look who funds them. I think they're linked to Media Matters and all that stuff, so you get the idea. George Soros is there. But the thing is that people voted for Trump to drain the swamp. That's what they really want. So they get nervous when they hear him say, well, no, Hillary Clinton run a tough campaign, and they're good people, whatever. But he could also be saying that to put their guard down. Again, we don't know. We will only know. But if he does not go after the world elites that created all this mess in the first place, all these wars, all the banking collapses, all the destabilization, then that means we're on our way to not only a World War III, a true World War III with the Russians and the Chinese, but, which I don't think, then I would say, listen to Joe Skousen very carefully when he says that all the world elites have agreed to have a war, but not until 2022 to 2024, somewhere around that time. It may have happened sooner, and that's not that far. That's not that far, if that's the case. But what we would get is a one world currency in 2018. That means 2017 burns. And if you look at The Economist magazine, I think the 1989 or 88 Rothschild and Economist magazine, it has the phoenix rising from the ashes, saying a one world currency by 2018. How would they know this that far in advance? How could they forecast this that well, right? And look what they're talking at Davos, look what they're talking at the IMF, one world currency. But you can't have a one world currency unless you destroy every other currency on the planet, which is most likely what the Russians, again, we have to look at the world with the Russians and the Chinese versus the States. You have the Anglo-American transatlantic empire, Europe, the Canada, the United States, basically the petrodollar. The other side of the empire is the Eurasian Pacific Empire, China, Russia, Iran, India, those and BRICS nations, and others jumping on board with them. So these two empires are fighting. They're clearly fighting. Right now with China, it's mostly trade war and currency war. It goes currency war, trade war, shooting war, right? And we're somewhere in the middle of trade war, or currency war. And it goes back and forth. Sometimes it goes a little bit more one way, sometimes it goes a little bit back. But we're soon to be getting into a trade war with China. That is clear and present with Trump. His policies guarantee that. You rescind NAFTA or go after NAFTA piece by piece, it don't matter. You're going to be at war with the Russian or with the Chinese because the Chinese have been using that. That's what built China. And China, in 1990 was nothing. It was still a 50s style country. 1991. NAFTA comes in, or 1994, whenever it came in fully. Look at China now. But China is just as corrupt. That's the kicker. But they're corrupt, but they're backing their currency with gold. So if they default, they just come up with another currency. I think that's what the yuan renminbi is. And plus, they'll just keep manipulating. It's just the way the Chinese do business. So they'll make it work for them. Problem is, it won't work for us because we won't be able to buy food. We won't be able to buy fuel. We won't be able to pay our bills. And they will blame it all on Russia and China for collapsing our economy. And when they do, we go to war. Tons of people die. So you get the big depopulation plan from the United Nations. You'll be very happy with that. Agenda 21. The United Nations Agenda 23. Ever notice that's all you keep hearing is this year 2030, by the year 2030, by the year 2030? There's a reason for that. United Nations Agenda 2030. That's why that's all you hear about in the Canadian Parliament, is sustainable development in Agenda 2030. It's the Rockefeller-Rothschild paradigm. George Soros, Henry Kissinger, Zygmunt Brzezinski. Study these men, you'll understand a lot of what's going on in the world today. These are some of the big players. And there's people behind the scenes, God knows who do the Rothschilds answer to. God knows, right? But with that said, to get that one world currency, which I better wrap it up, I guess, the amount of death and destruction that's going to have to follow that. The thing is if you look at the new 2017 Rothschild Economist magazine, they've got these tarot cards on there. And I'm going to do a video on those tarot cards. Now, I don't believe in this superstitious stuff as much, but it's not about what I believe. It's what these people believe. And these people are insane. And because of that, we're going to have to look at it and examine what it might be. And there's a lot of interesting cards on there, but I'll get that in another video because I think there's so much symbolism out of it. We can examine older Rothschild magazine covers, Economist covers, and they're always, it's only after where you draw the links on the covers. So they know these things are coming. It tells you, it warns you about everything. And that's one thing these psychopaths always have to do. It is a psychopathic trait to always warn people about stuff. So say, well, we told you it was coming, even in a cryptic way, it doesn't matter, we told. And yeah. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that because I got to go play some hockey, check out this new hockey stick. But it does look like they're really trying to set Trump up to have a crisis right from the get-go. The media isn't going to let up until they're defunded. I really hope Trump is the real deal. But he is one man. It's really up to the people to hold their feet to the fire. But what the world elites don't understand, and a lot of the leftists don't understand, and really the leftists, because they're useful idiots, they've always been useful idiots, you can sway them so easy. But the thing is that what they don't understand is Trump wasn't elected because he was a racist and bigot, there was a whitewash and all that stuff, or that he was going to be so super for the economy. No, he really got elected for one reason. Drain the swamp, arrest the world elites, get rid of all the corruption. That's what people really, really, really want. That is the number one. They just want that corruption gone. If he fails, whether it's on his own merit or the hand that wields him, whatever reason, if he fails, there will be an uprising in the States. It will turn into a civil war. That civil war will rip the country apart. I'm not talking states secession, I'm talking North versus South, that type of thing. But think of it more of nationalism versus communism or globalism, whichever. Whatever brand you want to put on it. Left versus right, all these things. And out of that, I don't think the world elites are going to they're going to be driven out of the States. So even if they can make it to the bunkers, I don't think most of them will make it out of the country. Because yes, the masses don't know what's going on. They follow the mainstream media. But the people that do know what's going on, they know what the list of names are. They know Rothschilds, Rockefellers. These people, Nuremberg trials too will be in the streets, not in a courtroom. And I'm pretty sure most of these world elites know this. That's why they're building all these bunkers to go hide and stuff like that. It's because they know that at some point the hellhounds are going to come for them. And I talk about the hellhounds. Call them spooks with conscience, patriots, whatever people want to take their sovereigntists. People want to take their country back. Most of them are going to be active duty, law enforcement, military. if Trump was not the real deal, we could see a military coup in 2017. Like I said, I knew you would have gotten it for sure under Hillary Clinton. Now, the inauguration, I think inauguration day is where the real excitement begins. You're going to have riots in the streets, all that from the left. That's to be expected. And that's just to make Trump as miserable as possible, to get the martial law, to get the authoritarian, to be able to ridicule him on that. And I think Trump will bite on that stuff. But I also think you're going to see a lot of spy via spy. You're going to see a lot of world elites just dying. I do believe that there's going to be a purge. And that will come from the second wave hellhounds. They're going to be active duty law enforcement, military. They're just basically going to kill politicians. They're going to make it look like accidents. They'll probably get the, not so much people who can testify, but people who are rigging the system. Oh, look, died in a plane crash. Oh, look, died in a plane crash. Oh, heart attack. Oh, look, his car just went off the rail. Oh, look, died on a bicycle. Oh, look, committed suicide. That's what you're going to see, and because you're already starting to see it. And you're going to see a lot of people just disappear. Then the third wave hellhounds, these are the revolutionaries in the street. These are the guys that come out, probably mostly active duty military, that go rogue. And they're going to, basically, these are the guys that come shooting at, Capitol Hill. They pull people out in the yard and they're going to shoot them. You say, oh, that's just a fancy tale. Well, it's happened in other countries. I don't know why people can't, this will never happen here. No, because everybody says that in history all the time. Bolshevik Revolution, 100 years ago. We're in that time. The Zionists would love to see a second Bolshevik Revolution. They're kind of screwed in the head that way. You have the 50-year anniversary or whatever of Kennedy. Or 100. Would have been his 100th birthday or something like that. Okay? This year. Would they assassinate Donald Trump on the same day Kennedy was assassinated? Most likely. Because that's the way these people are. And then the mainstream go, it's just such a coincidence. That's going to start some conspiracies. No, because we see it coming. And you can see in the mainstream media, the emperor has no clothes, but you can see that they're doubling down on a fake news story is really, I'm glad that the fake news has really backfired on them so horribly that they're just like, what do we do now? Because if you yell fake news, that was to one-up conspiracy theories. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. No, as soon as they yell, you're fake news, it's like, well, okay, so you're one of the oligarchs, you're in the system. Okay, you're the establishment. That's what people are doing, thankfully. I guess I'll just leave this video with this. Go out, enjoy your life. The world, there's things we can't control ourselves. Go do something for the community, wrap some hockey sticks. Go buy yourself a hockey stick. Get all handsome brother out there. Go, cross-check people. Got to rush the goalie. Go do that stuff. Go enjoy your life. Go do those things. Keep mindful of what's going on in the world. Spread the news around the best you can. Keep an eye on things, but live your life, because you can't really control everything at the end of the day, and there's no use living in fear. But at the end of the day, it's only going to be us people banding together against the establishment, no matter who it is, holding their feet to the fire. We need people to go to jail. Most of these people need to go to a firing squad, guillotine, or bullet crushed by boulder. I don't care how they get rid of these people. But we need to do it via trial, rule of law. And if the people that are supposed to be rule of law, they're not doing it, we need to hold them accountable first. And I think you are going to see a phenomenal amount of whistleblowers in 2017. Now, Trump is going to throw us a lot of little things. He'll probably, for example, pardon Edward Snowden and one that's now called Chelsea Manning, Bradley Manning. Probably pardon them. Oh, look how great Trump is. He's for liberty and truth. That's a small chump change. That's throwing breadcrumbs on you while he's eating a sandwich. No, you want to see Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Kissingers, Soros, Brzezinski, Clintons, Obamas, Bushes, Blairs. You want to see those people on trial and convicted. One charge, so simple. Crimes against humanity. Openly admitted by George Bush. Weapons of mass destruction. As soon as he knew, and the CIA directors, all those come back. Now, if Trump was really on for the people, he'd get rid of black budget projects, which he might be doing through the F-35 by saying, why is the F-35 so overpriced? Because that's the Make Work project to keep the money flowing to the black. That's my theory, because there's no reason why a plane that small should be that expensive. But anyway, another story for another time. So I do believe, even if you take what I say, as conspiracy theory or fake news, the thing you need to look at is, I am talking about real world events that are going on as we speak. And because of that, you might want to, again, if I'm wrong, the worst that's going to happen is you're going to have extra food and extra money in your house. Bread and bullets. I'm more of a bread and bullets guy than anything. Bag of rice. I always give that a plug. If you think of something that's as cheap as rice and as bulky as rice and nutritious, put it down below. Help everybody. Buy like $8, 18-pound bag of rice, 15-pound bag of rice. Go and buy 10 of them. Get some jars, put them in there so the weevils don't get out. Seal the jars, put some oxygen absorbers. You'd be good for a long time. If something happens, right now, if you were living in Venezuela, okay, $1 would cost you 600,000 of their dollars. 1 ounce of silver right now can feed you for 5 to 6 months in Venezuela. Just saying. I don't have any gold and silver. I'm too poor for that. But maybe I'll start buying small denominations. I'm going to see if I can start doing that maybe. Buy it. Don't tell anybody you're getting it. The other thing I would say is buy seeds. Lots and lots of seeds. Even if you live in an apartment, buy seeds that you can grow somewhere if you have to bug out. That's more valuable to gold and silver because that's how you get your gold and silver. You have food. They're starving. They got gold and silver. Well, here, you can clean the place out. Give me 2 ounces of silver. Whatever, ounce of gold. Clean the place out. I'll grow more. Think like that. Think sustainable. You got 20 rounds for your deer hunting rifle. Maybe you want 200. Just saying. You don't have to go over the top with it, but just have a buffer zone. Your kids needs an EpiPens. They got asthma. Buy an extra inhaler. Stuff like that. Toilet paper. You want to make money in SHTF? Toilet paper. You know what a Venezuelan would pay for toilet paper right now? Think about that. The people in Venezuela are giving their kids away because they can't feed them. They're eating their pets and they've resorted to chemicals. That's what a one world currency is going to look like. And it's going to come in digitally, which we're talking about cashless societies, and a chip. Remember David Rockefeller? We want to chip every human being? So if these psychos are willing to do that, number one, I think there would be so many pop-ups of cryptocurrencies and other currencies that they wouldn't be able to compete with anyway. It's going to fail. Communism, no matter what form it takes, always fails. It's just how many people die in the process. Something to consider. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. So if you like this kind of content, please consider making a donation to this channel. Links down below. Thank you so much to everybody else. Next time, like, subscribe, share, comment, like. Be true to yourself. Be true to others. Always do the right thing and have yourselves a great day. G'day and welcome. All right, so I'm going to be doing, hopefully you guys can hear me quite well. Nobody's here right now, so what I'm doing is I'm going to tape up the kids' hockey sticks, let my skates warm up for a bit because they've been sitting in the van. My heater hose came off on my van, so there's no heat in my van as of last night. So I'm going to do a video. I'm going to multitask while I'm doing the video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tape some of these kids' hockey sticks here at the rink. They were donation sticks, so I got more than enough tape. I did my new stick, my T1000. This is a Sherwood T1000. See, it says T and 1000. It's like liquid metal, and it's also, well, I can't see it now, but it's ABS for, ABS. Anyways, yeah. Get to the chocolate. All right, so anyway, more serious note. Donald Trump is going to be elected, or he is elected, and he's going to be, look at that. Somebody played pretty hard with it. This is a nice little stick. This is a sidetrack. But it looks like, they're really, really trying to make it hard for Donald Trump with the actual fake news out there. The CBC up here in Canada is still going with that story about the thing in Moscow. Now, number one, okay, even if the story was true, as sick as the story is, it's still not illegal. It's not a scandal. It's, in the sense of, it's nothing. Even if Donald Trump came in, yeah, that's true. It's all true. There's nothing you can do to him. Mind you, people would think he was a disgusting person if he did that. But I mean, for some people, that's straight. I mean, you got people walking around. When it comes to fetishes, yeah, there's a can of worms. There's a can of worms. I got a hockey stick fetish to fix all the hockey sticks. That's my fetish. This is constructive for the community. You know what I mean? But if some people want to do golden showers, if you don't know what that is, don't research that with little kids around. Please don't. You're going to be shocked and awed if you don't know what it is. You're going to go, what the hell? People do that for fun? Are you kidding me? I don't know if they do it for fun. Again, it takes all kinds, right? But anyway, so the story is that they're still trying to track down this agent that apparently leaked the story, and he's an MI6 guy, MI5, MI6 guy. I believe he was an MI6 guy, ex-MI6. The British government says, no, this guy hasn't worked for us in years. I guess he went kind of like a private eye kind of thing, trying to find dirt on people. The problem is the story, it goes back to 4chan. And, well, first off, I'll tell you what the story is. And Donald Trump alluded to it. He goes, when I go to Russia or places like that, he goes, you've got to be very careful. He tells everybody there, you go there, you've got to be careful. You've got to be really careful because there's cameras They're so small you won't even know they're there. They spy on you. A friend of mine experienced something like this in Cuba when she, kind of cozy with this guy from Cuba, and they the Cuban government actually tapped her phone. It freaked her out. She's like, they tapped her phone, stuff like that, in the hotel. When she told me this, so I probably won't talk more about it because I'm pretty sure she wouldn't appreciate it. But just to give you an idea, when you go abroad, like, not every country has as bad as we're going, the direction we're going in like Canada, the United States, with authoritarianism and stuff like that, we're still not where a lot of countries like, say, North Korea, or even if you're in Russia, Mother Russia there, this is some of the things that I complain about. They spy on their diplomats there. Everybody knows that the Russians spy. This started even long before Joseph Stalin. So this is like openly known. If you go to Moscow and you're a diplomat or whatever, the FSB, which you call the modern day KGB, which Putin wants to revive the KGB, we know about that. You're going to be spied on. And so Trump says always be on your best behavior, which makes sense. So maybe Trump is into the sick stuff, and that's a possibility. Shot myself in the throat. Nice. I'm tough. I can take it. So that's one hockey stick. So the thing is that he's not stupid. He knows for sure that you're going to be spied on if you go and go to these places. Come rush me. I slap you in the head there because this part of the stick. Okay. When the guy come in, he go to bum rush me there, but what you don't know is like when he come in like that, I turn stick like that, get him in crotch, right from behind. The ref, you never see it because I'm like back in the net. I'm like, hey, I'm just a goalie, man. Like I play hockey and he'd go to shoot and he'd bum rush me and my stick turned. I was scared. You should give him a penalty, make him sit in the penalty box, eh? But anyway, but anyway, so we know that this spying is something that they do. So Trump knows this. He's not stupid. So he called CNN's bluff on it. I guess what they expected him to go, oh, no, that's not true. It's not true. It's not, oh, my God, don't say those sort of... Trump's like, you're a bunch of lying assholes. I mean, that's the next way he's going to say it. He's not going to be any nicer. Hey, there's a nice tape underneath here. Okay, that's not too bad. Oh, I'll do it again anyway. But he's like, no, you guys are fake news, and you got that reporter down there. Mr. President, that's not appropriate. You're fucking right, it's not appropriate. Sorry for the language there, but yeah, of course that's not appropriate. Look, I understand bias. You don't like Donald Trump? Fine. I'm a Canadian. I do kind of have a dog in the fight because they're our neighboring country, and I don't want Trump to fail. Why? Because if he fails, it's going to hurt my country. It might hurt the world. So all these people that want Trump to fail, it's like being on an airplane, hoping that because you don't like the pilot, you're hoping he's going to crash. Same logic, exact same logic. And yes, it's coming mostly from the left. But you got it also from these, we'll call them right-tards, because they're not right-wing. They're neocon, Zionist, war hawk types. They're just douchebag people. And they're trying to sabotage their own guy. You do realize you're on the same boat as that guy if you make him fail. They're so stupid. Maybe they were the guy that got bum rushed into the goalie and then, got a concussion or something. I don't know what happened with it. But anyway, so they don't like him, fine. But it doesn't mean you get to do character assassination. Now, the media for years has been able to do that. You got like W5 up here in Canada. They do hit pieces on people all the time. Basically, take sound bites to make you look bad, take everything out of context, instill in people not... and this is what they're trying to double down on this, using Saul Alinsky style of tactics. The one where he says ridicule is the best weapon because there's no defense against it. Well, there's not. You call their bluff, then they look twice as bad. And again, moments of truth can be 1,000 years of lies can be destroyed by moments of truth. So I'm not saying Donald Trump is the good guy because we don't know. We can only judge him on his actions. I have a hunch he might be a good guy, but will Washington change him? Or will he become the next Kennedy? And if he does, he will probably suffer the fate of Kennedy. Now, for those of you who don't like Donald Trump, oh, good, I want to see him assassinated. No, you don't. No, you don't. This guy is probably going to be better for the left than the left even realizes. That, it's bizarre, but anyway, keep going here. The thing is that when you look at what they're done. They took a story, okay, and let's talk about this story. This is what